We live.
Oh,
Yeah, we live.
I know that. You motherfuckers. What's happening? What's happening, y'all? This is Cavario H, aka the Mind Plug, aka the Last Laugher, one half of your hosting team for the WePopNson talk show, the number one father and son talk show in the world. And who that? Who you is? Who you be, sir?
Um,
The magnificent.
or I am the one and only comedian
Thank goodness for
TyMillz,
that.
one and only comedian TyMillz. The other half of the We Poppin' Son talk show. The younger, handsome, more viral, more dick dastardly half. He is slinging it, not bringing it. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga said more viral. I don't know what that mean. You got that? You got the bug, nigga? What that talk? What you talking about? So what's happening on your side, son? You down in the A, right?
Yeah, down in
What's
the.
happening down there?
Just another day in the A. Niggas crazy. Chicks is triggered. Niggas out here
Um,
slipping in their pepper.
I sent you something in your Telegram, right? About I just came across it. You might have been hip to it. What's this? If you know anything about it, what's this thing going on with Boosie and a somebody selling him a pardon from Trump or some shit like that, and it turns out that they're grifting or whatever. You
Oh
know
yeah,
anything about that?
he tried to get a pardon, and they was lying. They was fronting. They was acting like they had the plug with Trump, but they ain't had the plug with Trump. So Boosie like, I'm coming for my money. I mean, you stole from the wrong one.
So how many well how much he gave him for this pardon and pardon for what, that gun case?
600,000 or something like that. I don't know.
Bro, brother, son. You know what that thing that brings me to, man? I was sitting in the back watching the sunset. I'd be sitting back there right now watching it if I wasn't on there with you. And I thought about the things that I've experienced in my effort to build with different cats throughout my life. And I'm not just talking about like in the back in the street days in the 80s and all that, in the 90s. That was a lot of shit, because as I've shared before, so few cats have any wits about them, bro. Cats ain't got no sense, man. No sense. And no sense direction. Peace to the God. I think that was it. Cats ain't got no sense about them, bro. Got no sense about it. They really don't. And this was back during the time where there's a lot less distractions and a lot less low bar shit, where a lot less cats were being distracted from the truth of who they are. And niggas were still majorly fucking up all the fucking time. And in the years since then, it hasn't gotten much better. At the end of my career in the street, that last 2 years, I was really on some like solo shit. What I mean by that is I had a crew, right? Me and my partner, oh, we had a crew. We were Winston, Charlotte, Greensboro, High Point, primarily. And the crew was initially rocking, as a team, Uh, work came in, we went to the table, we had the boy and the girl. So we went to the table, uh, did our mix, bagged up on the thing and the boy, and cooked up the girl, and cats came and got base situations. However much you gonna get, like you gonna get bundles, but like big amount of bundles, and you taking your heart and take it in bulk. or whatever, right? And everybody had their own little block situations, cats they was hitting, shit like that. Which meant that if they had an issue, then we were obligated to help them in their issue, no matter what they did to create the issue, no matter how much of a dumbass move they made to create the issue. And, like riding around in fire red Supras, brand new Supras, fire red with chrome rims and booming systems and, fucking Winston, South Carolina. North Carolina. Looking like a big ass New York drug dealer with out of state plates. And whatever happened, we would be obligated to provide them lawyer, provide them bail. It's what it is. And they were sex money, so they were part of the company. That was the obligation. And at the point that I got there, it's 95, it's after leaving B-More, O had been there already for like maybe 4 months or something like that. And he kept telling me like, yo, come down here, help me. I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. So I had been giving him advice from the town. Like, I was in B-More and he would call me and say, yo, this happened, or this one said that one said this. And I would say, now, if they said this is what that means. If they did that, this is what they're actually up to. This is what's going on for real. And he called me back and said, yo, you was right. That's exactly what it is. And it's not like crystal ball shit. There are so many things that happen in life in general, and there are fewer things that happen in that life. And they just happen over and over again. And it's just, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but it's all the same shit, right? So when you've seen it in 15 and a half years, I'd seen it, all of it, 1,000 times. So whenever he said something, I'd be like, yeah, this is what that means. This is what they're really doing. This is what they're really up to. If you do this, you'll see that, and they'll reveal this, and they'll want to type shit, right? So he's like, yo, you got to come down. You got to help me. So I come down. First thing I do is start looking at, where the problems are, because I don't know what I'm stepping into. Now, O had just got down with us. He had just gotten out of prison. He had been out of prison for a few years, right? And he was just working. He was a chef. He was hustling with the clothes and all that type of shit. And he was doing all right. And we initially tried to bring him in as soon as he came home. I pull up on him in the drop and all that, and Rolex and all that. I'm like, yo, nigga, come on, niggas, get this money. He's like, nah, I'm chilling, man. He did 9.5 years in prison. He was like, I'm chilling. I was like, well, I ain't gonna push it. I'm not gonna push a nigga into this. I know what it is. I deal with it every day. So he ends up getting into the game because of his girl made fun of his shoes, said he had old man shoes. And all our jewelry and our money and our cars, none of that shit moved him. But when the girl said, you got old man shoes, because, he's been in prison with a bunch of old men. So he had on Rockports. He had on some very practical, comfortable shoes, especially he rolling around the street up and down 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue with the cart, with the bootleg jeans, or whatever, making few $1,000s a week doing that shit, whatever. Like he needed some comfortable shoes. So she laughed at him, flipped his ego, triggered his ego. Next thing you know, he's like, yo, I'm in. So when he initially got down, he got down through, one of the older homies in our crew. I'm not gonna call his name. If you know him, you know him. And he had worked for him when we were younger on 170th Street in the Bronx, off the concourse. So, because he went away, my partner went away when he was like 14 and a half years old. When we were 14 and a half years old, we were born the same day. So they had that relationship. So when we decided going to get down, whatever, he contacted Brody, and Brody said, yeah, well, let's go. Let's do it. And so now he's down there in what you call it. And when he tells me he got this, you're gonna do this or whatever, I say, okay, he's the Carolinas. I mean, anywhere you got to be careful fucking with this out. Anywhere you go south of the Mason-Dixon, you got to be careful because they get you, they got you. So he tells me that dude told him, the older homie, yo, you got about 6 months to a year to rock before they know you around, before they see you, before they get hip to you. And I told him, I said, you have as much time as he has, because I wasn't down there. I'm in B-more. So I said, you got as much time as he has. That's how much time you got. Whatever time is left on his clock, you have to assume that's what's left on your clock. You're starting off, wherever you jump in, wherever his clock is, that's how much time you got, if you want to look at it like that, right? But it really comes down to decisions. It also could come down to just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
All right. But dude, he starts doing this thing, whatever. I'm giving him advice. He convinces me, Baltimore's going stupid. They doing $4 pills of dope, $6 pills of dope. I'm like, y'all niggas is on that. Y'all on the bullshit now. You know what I mean? I left New York because of this bullshit. You know what I mean? First niggas started selling nickels. Then niggas started selling trays. Then niggas started selling $2 bottles. I never actually saw that, but I heard about it. Then I heard about $1 bottles. I was long gone before that.
But
So I was like,
they were
y'all doing
doing
the same
that
shit.
with the weed. Niggas definitely started doing that with the weed. Dude used to come through the block with $2 bags of weed, and I had $20, and I'd be like, boy, let me get
That's crazy.
load me up, nigga.
Load me up.
Nigga,
Whatever the fuck that is you got in that bag.
hey, we need all of it. I got 20, he got 20, he got 20, he got 10.
Oh, y'all gonna get pounds. Y'all getting pounds of
Yeah,
bag though.
we trying to, we gonna, whatever you got, we give it to y'all. We all got dubs.
That's crazy. That's nasty work, bro. That's nasty work. $2 bag a week. That shit must have been seeds and stems like a motherfucker.
Nah, it was some good like sour like shit. Like he was you had the only he only came through the block around like two and 4 in the morning.
Wow.
So you had to just be outside playing a block to just like catch him. And it's like you catch him, you good, but you don't catch him, you like damn.
So that's what it sounded like to me. Sound like a motherfucker that was stealing and he was moving during the times when he wouldn't be exposed to whoever he's stealing from. That
Yeah,
sound like. Because I don't know what type of numbers you get, and I mean, even going through the process of bagging that up, you got to think about the amount of energy and effort it takes to go through the whole packaging thing, and how much profit can you make off of a $2 denomination. If each bag is not costing you 25, 30 cents, then you're not really making any money that justifies the trouble of putting it in a bag, buying bags, traveling from home to where you got to go get your bags, going back home and sitting there and breaking it down and bagging it up and then transporting it in distribution form, which is regardless of the denomination or how much each uh, individual packet is worth. You get caught with 300 bags, you got distribution, possession with
you going
intent
to
to distribute.
jail.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail for $300 worth of fucking weed, and you were making a $75 profit off of it, and you're going to prison, right? And that's relevant. That's relevant to what I want to share. So when that started happening in Baltimore, and they started taking the numbers down, like killing it and destroying it and whatever, I said, you know what? I'm gonna head down there with you, bro. So I head on down there and pull up, and he showed me what's what, and he had these guys. I only knew, I think, one or two of them. The other ones are guys I didn't know. They were guys that he and the older homie knew. And the older homie was, his responsibility for the collective was to get the boy. John's responsibility was to get the girl. And so he tells me who's who is what, who doing what, where they at. I go check out everybody's locations. So and so's over there. He's got this going on. I go look at what he got going on, see where the holes are, and do that with everybody. It's about 4 or 5 different cats. I do that with everybody, and I go and I see what they got going on. And then I explain to them, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. And, you know, things are going along fine, whatever. Productivity is increasing, as I'm implementing my program. And then I just started seeing how they were moving. And it was just a matter of time. I said, bro, it's a matter of time before these guys send you to prison, send you back to prison. I said, you got to put distance between yourself and these dudes. You got to put some buffer, you know? And he's like, well, what do you suggest? I said, well, firstly, it's time to turn them niggas into customers, put them on their own program where they're responsible for themselves, right? So I told them, look, we're going to give you 3 moves. The next 3 packages that come through, we're going to hit you like we've been hitting you. But after that, you got to spend money. Otherwise, there ain't nothing coming. Of course, niggas is belly aching, but I like being on welfare. I like being on a man's tit. I like nigga. I had to explain to them. You understand that when you are on our program, you understand that you got to rock at the pace we say rock. So every Wednesday, Thursday, our guy would come through and pick up, right? And like he came on a Wednesday to pick up, then the girl would come with the car on Thursday to drop off. Drop off so many birds, so many bags of the boy, and it's a schedule. And you have an obligation. You have an obligation to finish what you're doing to pay for what you're doing. So if you get $80,000, $90,000 worth of material, you got to give maybe 45, 55,000, maybe 60,000 back. And you make your little 25, 30 for yourself, whatever have you. And whether you have it or not, like whether you finished or not, when the day comes, you got to give up your money. That's how it actually works. Okay. That is how a person is able to get large sums of material from a connect when they know that you pay like a Vegas slot machine, as Ronnie Bump likes to say, but with much more regularity. It's very important all the way up the chain that everybody knows that on a certain day there's going to be a certain amount of money in pocket so the machine can keep chugging, right? So the people we deal with, they might be at this point getting 2,500 birds. This is the 90s. This is the when everybody, you get a key and you get a key. This ain't that. This ain't that at all. Ain't no Mexicans over here. None of that. Ain't none of that happening. Right? So when them guys get them 2,500 joints, they have anywhere between a week and 10 days to pay for those 2,500 joints. So they got certain people they know they got to get them things to make sure at the very least they got the bread to pay for those 2,500 joints so they can get another $2,500 joint, 2,500 joints, maybe 3,500 joints, which at this time, you're talking about several $1 million, like, double digit fucking high double digit millions of fucking dollars in responsibility, So everybody's on a schedule. These guys don't know shit about schedule. These guys, like most guys, they're hustling for basic maintenance and fun. This is it. There is no plan. There is no uh, destination. They're not running towards anything as much as they're running from. They're running from poverty. They're running from the penitentiary. They're running from obscurity. They're not really running towards anything in any conscious way. They're running towards death and destruction unconsciously, not because of what they're doing, but because of how they do what they do. Completely mindless. There is no system to what they do. It's get work, sell work, spend money, get work, sell work, spend money. And they never worry about whether they have enough money to re-up because they get in consignment. So I put an end to that. But they buck. Oh man, this is fucked up, man. Why we got to pay for it? This and the other. I said, look, check this out, dickhead. If we give you a 50 pack, right? And you are not done paying us our 30 in the time that we need you to pay us our 30, then damn, Maurice is looking for is super looking for us. They keep forgetting that we're doing it on YouTube now. Ed, let Maurice know that we're doing this on YouTube now, man. Like this is what I was saying, like doing it on both at the same time, because people, and he's one of our most ardent followers, like, and he doesn't realize that we're not doing it on Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So when I say, look, you got 30,000, 35,000, you got to give up in the next few days, whatever. I said, you can get that same $50,000 worth of material for like $10,000 less. You just got to put up the 25. You put up the 25,000. Not only do you move at your own pace, you just made $10,000 more just for spending your money. Right? The only thing is, if something happened, we ain't gonna leave you high and dry, but we're not obligated. But of course, we ain't gonna let a nigga that's been rocking with us for however long been rocking with us, and he get jammed up, and we don't tap in and get his ass. You could pay us back when you get the fuck out, but we ain't gonna leave you there. We ain't asking for no fucking trouble like that. Like, you know what I mean? A nigga be like, oh, niggas ain't gonna help me, niggas ain't gonna get me out, and start justifying shit. Like, nigga, you don't work for us anymore. Like, you still team, but this is no longer uh a worker, you know, boss situation. It's more of a council, what they call a board, board of investors. Well, you're making an investment. We're gonna take your 25 and we're gonna put it with our bread, and then we're gonna shoot that up, and our man's gonna put it with everybody else's bread coming out of Pittsburgh, coming out of B More, coming out of other parts of North Carolina, wherever else that we were. And it's gonna go to them people and make sure that we get what we need, and when nobody else got, we got type shit. So it took a minute, but when I said you'll be your own boss, niggas, boss? I'll be a boss. No more having to say to cat, yo, man, come on, man. These people is trying to they on my back. Like, y'all gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, my people, my niggas, my boss is trying to, you ain't gotta say no more. You the boss. You like that? You like that? Yeah, you like that, nigga. So that's what ends up being the case, right? And it was really just in time, because motherfuckers, I mean, we was making a lot of bread, we were making a lot of money, and motherfuckers were getting beside themselves and sloppier and sloppier and sloppier and sloppier. But that right there, removing them from the tip, it made my life, our lives, me and my partner's lives, so much simpler. Because it's like, you got your bread, here's your material, see you when I see you. But if I don't ever see you again, it doesn't make a difference to me. I'm not at risk of losing any motherfucking thing. Right? And you don't know when, you never knew when anything was coming or how it was coming, none of that kind of stuff, because that's not your part. Even though you was crew and all that, when it's coming, how it's coming, who bringing it, none of that was your part. So you were never burdened with that information. So if I never see you again, it's whatever. I'm not worried whether or not my bread gonna come back. So I can just go home to my kids and my broad, and we could just enjoy our lives and all that, and I'll see you guys in 4 days, type shit. Those last 2 years were the most peaceful. They may not have been the most profitable. They were profitable, definitely made bread, but the peace that I was able to get from simplifying my situation was worth way more than any additional, you know, tens or 20s or 30s that would have come if I were to continue to subject us to the randomness of, what niggas be doing. So from that, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned that I should have done that years and years and years before, but I was always trying to help people. I, I always, some part of me always thought, niggas just need a shot. No, most niggas ain't got no plan. They ain't got no plan. Most niggas ain't got no discipline. They have no sense of direction. They have no responsibility, nor do they want any. And there was something that one of my brother, Bernard, um, for those of you who don't know, this is my autobiography, Raised by Wolves. And that was my brother Bernard right there. Handsome devil. Brilliant. Mad as a hatter. He's the one that created uh, putting the stamp on a bag of dope. Before him, it was the color of your bag or the tape, the color of the tape on your bag. And that's how to distinguish your thing from anybody else's thing. Right? And I mean, while we're at it, that's my brother Steve Reno. He's the one that coined 5-0 rolling. 5-0, 5-0. That's who coined that. That's who started that. That started on 115th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. That's who started that. Raised by Wolves, my autobiography. It's available at www.themindplugacademy.com. Nowhere else. Not on Amazon, nowhere else. Nowhere else. Just my website. Fuck Jeff Bezos. I'd say respectfully, but I don't respect the motherfucker. So he used to tell me, Bernard used to say, yo, you can't get something with motherfuckers that don't want nothing. He was telling me this in 1977. I'm 9, 10 years old. He's telling me this. And I had only ever been around them. So I didn't know shit about people who didn't want nothing. I was not apprised of such people. I was raised around go-getters. I had no idea of people who didn't want shit. I didn't know what my people were dealing with. I was only seeing end result. I was only seeing tons and tons and tons of money. So I did not know there was so many people who really didn't want shit. Really, really don't want shit. They can get $100, but they'll take two. They'll take two. They'll come back and take two more. Come back and take two more before they put their foot in it and really get to the money. Now I'm using my experience in the street with people to bring this point to fruition or to an understanding. A lot of people in all walks of life, all lifestyles, regular working cat gets his man a job at his job because he got a baby coming. His wife is pressing him. He gets him a job at his job. Hey man, just come on time, do your job, mind your business. Don't come in smelling like weed. That's it. You get paid. If people treat you right, you're good. And the motherfucker proceeds to do everything he was specifically told not to do. Not only fucks it up for himself, but now disenables the brother who brought him into the situation from being able to help somebody else who might do the right thing. Not just because now his employers might be looking at him like, yeah, you're not such a good judge of character. But also in his own mind, he's like, man, you can't help motherfuckers. You can't help. You can't help niggas, man. This is the condition. And I say it's a condition because it's wide fucking spread. This is the condition we find ourselves in. I mean, you 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 get what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense to what I'm
No,
saying
I
to you?
totally agree. You can't help a nigga. You boy, I done help niggas. You help a nigga get a job. He'll come out to the job and just be up there talking shit. Like I had another homeboy. He got a friend a job, and my friend found out that his homeboy, the friend that got him the job, is Uncle
Your
Tom.
your mic is clicking. It might be too close, maybe.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but it's like maybe talking too loud or it's too close. It's like clicking, clicking, clicking.
What about now?
Yeah,
That's better.
yeah, a little bit, maybe a little lower. That thing's powerful. Go ahead.
Damn, that's dope. That's fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, you good.
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 Okay, so so yeah, my homeboy got a job, and he found out that the other homie that got him the job was Uncle Tom. So every time the white people tell him to do something, he's jumping and getting up. He's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you was like that because you go out and get drunk and get fucked up. So I thought you was gonna be kind of chill at the job." But he's like, "No, no, you out here kissing ass," and he couldn't do it. You could do it. He was like, I can't do it. Yeah, they fell out. He was like, I can't even really kick it with a nigga that kiss ass like that to the white folks.
You know, I always, and I've always been this way. I always look for the causality, the deeper motivation for people's behaviors. And in most instances, that habit has served me well. That is a widespread condition with with us. Maybe with maybe it's with everybody, but I only concern us, myself with us. It is definitely, in my mind, the cause for that is so few of us ever really get the opportunity to have anything, whether it's a good piece of employment or an opportunity to make a difference financially, socially. So many of us are unrealized, untapped, and we're aware of it. We're all aware of that, if not as a firsthand experience, as a secondary witnessing experience. Like you might have one cat from a particular neighborhood who is doing well, and then everybody else he know ain't really doing shit, and they got no prospects. So he's aware that like niggas ain't really on nothing, ain't really getting nowhere, ain't really doing nothing, and that may make him feel extra special. It should make him feel appreciative. It should make him serious and focused because he's got constant examples of what he don't want to be or how he don't want to be. But sometimes it'll make them, depending on the circumstances, it'll make them like kiss asses. It'll make them be like, I'm so happy and thankful that I got something, man, that you know, yes sir, yes sir, master. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have to be the case so much if more of us were on something. The chain would be stronger. You wouldn't have to be so dependent on other people outside of our group to the point where you got your lips sewed to their butt. You wouldn't have to do that because you would know I got people. We definitely don't widely have that attitude. I got people, bro.
Hell no, hell no. They kind of use jobs how they play people against each other. Like don't tell them people not knowing what each person is making. You know,
Look at it again.
y'all are all working together at one point, and then they come and take somebody and they put them in authority over y'all, and now that person they know what y'all was doing, so now they trying to catch. Oh, I know y'all be out here smoking because it's like nigga, you used to be out here smoking, and now you trying to get points by stopping us from doing the shit. Like it's such a weird space where you give these niggas a position of power or authority and they just abuse it. They become the people that they hated instantly. And especially when you black and they black, they be extra like, come on, man, you already know how they looking at us. You like, what the fuck are you talking about? If you stood for something, then we could actually get some rights around here. But you such a hoe. You going to eat the dick and then tell us, yo, it tastes good. It don't taste that bad. Nigga, no. Not doing that. You your mama's son.
The crazy shit is, the fucked up shit is that when cats demonstrate that, what they're basically telling the next brother is, this is how you make it.
Yeah.
This is how you make it. Keep your lips on Mr. Charlie's ass and your foot on your brother's neck. That's how you make it. Bro, by 2030, just a few short years, by 2030, trust me when I tell you, man, you're not going to recognize this society. However people thought it ain't never going to be like that again. It's not. Mostly because most people weren't doing anything actively to sustain it. It just was what it was. Now that the people who have their hands on the controls are shifting, it's going to be whatever they decide to shift it into. That's what it's going to be. Most cats are not prepared for that because, getting back to my initial point, cats have no sense of purpose or direction, um, no structure to their planning, no planning,
Yeah.
no planning. These are the last days of being able to really do something and make something happen. But the bullshit, the escape shit, chasing ass, blowing your bread, like wasting your resources, whether it's time or money or energy, those days, being able to do that and not have the worst case scenario come about, those days are over. And I know motherfuckers probably gonna be like, whatever. I think there's something truly, really actually wrong with us. Like for real, for real. I do. Um, like in a real way. That plane. You got a plane going above you. You got a plane. I think there's something really, truly wrong. Something that disenables us from seeing what is obvious, from seeing what's right in front of our faces. And it's going to cost us everything. And when the shit starts really hitting the fan, we're going to see more of what we've been seeing as the shit has been slowly hitting the fan, which is turning in on each other, attacking each other. Because, I mean, who are the majority of us around? Each other. So when you mix ignorance with desperation, you get violence and destruction.
Yes. I
So
posted that video with all them kids. They was at pool party, and all of them was pulling out FNs and Dracos and all of this stuff. It's like y'all at a pool party. Why do y'all need this type of?
word, I didn't see that.
And it's like all y'all gonna do is kill each other. Like y'all not gonna go. Y'all not gonna kill somebody who don't look like you. Not like that's what you should be doing, but you more than likely gonna kill one of these people that look just like you, come from a good home just like you, and your parents are gonna be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you was like the the image and everything you trying to portray is so far from who you are and what you come from is crazy." And then your constant thirst to like perpetuate this idea of violence and aggression only leads to your demise. And then people don't care when something happens to you. Because it's like, you gonna go around and act like that. Then when the police do something to you, which they shouldn't, it's like, nah, he ain't even do nothing. It's like, no, you wasn't doing nothing right now, but you just pulled out a gun on 8 people 10 days ago. Like, so you do stuff. You do stuff. So you carry a certain energy to which, something might happen.
Yeah, your mic is, I guess it's feedback or something. It's when you it's almost like, if you say something too loud, it it pops. It's like it's popping. It's doing a lot of popping. Might be, maybe the sensitivity might be up too high or something like that. I don't know if you can adjust that, the volume or the sound. I don't know, but it's doing a lot. But I mean, I think that a lot of people, even people who don't think much about nothing, are aware of what we're talking about and aware of the issues. What are solutions to this not having direction, not having focus, not wanting to be self-responsible, you know, no discipline? What's the remedy to this shit, bro? What are remedies? There's no one thing. There's no one thing causing. There's no one issue. So what are some of the remedies?
More active, positive males that actually have fluence in these spaces, you know, being in positions of where their voices are louder and they're allowed to perpetuate the idea like being different and being smart is cool. Like not doing the dumb shit, be a people that's able to push that, not doing the dumb shit, you could be cool. You could get all the bitches not doing all dumb shit. But as long as that keeps getting highlighted, empowered to where it's something that kids aspire to be, or they know that this girl not paying me no attention. But if I come outside with this Draco, she gonna be like, I'm him. Like the fact that that type of attention gets acknowledged and empowered, you gotta do some reverse engineering. You gotta do some reverse engineering. You gotta put people in places that's gonna speak against those things. So they were so loud in their expression.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I know you're a product of that, and but you also have that product. What's up? What's up? What is that? What is that?
Yellow bear. The yellow bear.
Oh, I see a yellow bear. I wish he wasn't. Is that some kind of like bubbles or something? That he's not. What
Hey,
was in there? He not drinking. What's in there? Right?
Papa.
Hey, I don't got nothing to do with that. That's it might be on
Whoa.
that.
Might be all natural. I hope so. That is one of the. I didn't say nothing, but that's
Oh,
one
it's
of the.
certified organic juice in there.
Whoa.
My man. That right
Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah.
is when you talk about the reverse engineering. That's one of the main fucking things. Motherfuckers are being poisoned or poisoning themselves every day with everything that they consume. All this fake chicken motherfuckers are consuming. Like, I don't understand how people haven't caught on. For the last 25, 30 years, you've been getting more and more and more and more chicken spots, more and more chicken spots, more. You motherfuckers don't have no concepts of plausibility. Like, how many chickens do you think that can be developed? Like, from egg to full grown chicken is like 7 months per chicken. So, I mean, yeah, there are millions, a couple of billion chickens, but you got several billion people eating like tons of chicken every year, like themselves. It's not like one chicken per person type of thing. Even if that were the case, there still ain't enough chickens for everybody that eat chicken to have their own chicken every goddamn day. So, like, what do you think you're eating? But that's it. They don't think about what they eat, and they don't think it makes a difference. But I see it's making a fucking difference. People are being fucking poisoned every day, all day. And the shit is really impacting people's abilities to think, to learn, to self govern, to make rational choices. Because they're consuming shit that is fucking with their neurochemistry. And I don't even know how to even begin to approach that. Like, tell a nigga, like, yo, like, that shit you drinking, that high fructose corn syrup, that shit is fucking with your brain. It's a neurochemical. And there's a whole bunch of other chemicals that's in the shit that you eat. That's fucking with your brain, not just your kidneys, and your liver, and your heart, and your digestive system.
I just, my own girl had 2 strokes, and she got into the supermarket and she bought 6 bottles of Minute Maid juice, and I was like, "Girl, that juice is terrible." She like, "It's on sale." I'm like, "Duh. You know that's killing you? Do you know the juice is what's killing you? You having fucking strokes, and you drinking the juice that's causing the fucking strokes. But you talking about because it's on sale, you gonna keep drinking it? Are you stupid?"
Yes, yes, she's stupid. By definition, she's stupid. So this is what I'm saying when, like, these two guys came here today. They were trying to sell us a new roof. Our roof is perfectly fucking fine. Perfectly fine. Perfect. What they do what they do. They trying to, hey, you can get insurance to pay for it. Yeah. And if I ever need to, that's what we'll do. But there's nothing wrong with the fucking roof. So, two white guys, one like 27, the other one like 36. And we were talking to them, whatever. And then, I started chopping up with them. And of course, they end up buying, both my first book and my second book, Old Gangsters and Young Guns, which is the Don Diva anthology, and Raised by Wolves, right? Straight up white guys. One's from Georgia, the other one is from Lexington, South Carolina. I said, you couldn't be more, and I didn't solicit them the book. They just were talking to me, listening to me, and said, "You have a book or something?" Like, I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Where can I get it?" I said, "You can get it right here." And I said, "You couldn't be more removed from my experience if you were from another planet." That's how far we are from experience, not just geographically, not just ethnically, you know, not just the difference in our skin tones. There's a difference in everything about us. So when you get into this book, don't expect to be able to necessarily relate to anything except for the human emotion that I share as it relates to the experiences I had. Because we all are human. So we all feel fear, anger, elation, disappointment, love, hate. We all feel those things. So I speak to those things in my experience. So you'll know what it feels like to count your first $100,000, and you're still a teenager. You know what I mean? Back when $100,000 was a lot of motherfucking money, especially for a teenager. Like, you'll know what it's like, even though you never did it, because I speak to the emotions attached to it. But they stood there in the sun, like, burning the fuck up on my front lawn. I'm cool as a fan on high. Other side of the pillow, cool. And they motherfuckers are standing, but they just, they feeling the God. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, like, whoa, like, wow, And I don't know, it just goes to show you, man, like, human beings are human beings. They were asking me, like, how do you build muscle, and you're vegan, and where do you get your protein from? They always ask that. And I have to explain to them that plant protein is the most assimilable form of protein that there is. There's nothing your body can get protein from more easily with less energy expenditure than uh, raw green leafy vegetables. Everything else, your body's going to have to work like a motherfucker to get that protein out of, which is counterproductive. And it's, just not necessary. Right? So that's how it got started, you know. And it just goes to show you, man, that as much difference as there is, between, people from different places and different circumstances, we got more in common as a species than we have in difference, you know. And the bridge is always information. Always. It's always information, bro. And that is, if there's anything that I would want to impart to our collective, is they've got to start prioritizing getting information. They got they have to stop believing that 20 years old, you know enough to carry you for the rest of your life. You know, they got to stop believing that. Or I don't even know. A belief seems like it's much more of a intent, like conscious decision type of thing. I'm going to believe that for whatever reason. I don't even think it's belief, because I don't think they're conscious of anything. It's just like I told those white cats that was at in front of my house earlier. You just inherited the shit you think, the shit you believe from the people who raised you, because you trusted them. They loved you, they clothed you, they housed you, fed you. You trusted them. You just didn't think, how reliable a source are they for real information? They're telling me what they believe is true, but did you ever ask them how they know it's true? Or would that be disrespectful? Would they discourage you from doing that? If they would, then they're encouraging you to be a sheep. Don't question authority, is what they're saying. Take what's given to you and take what's told to you for the gospel. If you want to be included, if you want to be accepted, if you want to be one of us, don't ask no questions type shit. And that is not it. That's not it. You know, I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in the ultimate outcome uh, for human beings in general, our people in particular. I mean, since we're on the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder, everything that impacts this pushes it down, pushes us down. And I don't see what's going to change that. I mean, I know what can change it. I just don't see it happening. You know. So what's the answer to that? If that's the attitude, and I've been seeing this, like I said, since I was in the street. Like, motherfuckers ain't got no sense of direction, no sense of purpose, no sense of responsibility. ain't looking for it. What's the answer for those of us who have some degree of wherewithal? What's the answer? Maybe Jay-Z, maybe he got it right. Maybe he got it right. If his financial condition is purported, because we don't really know what people's financial conditions are. All we know is that there are certain sources that we have been told to accept whatever they say as it relates to someone's financial condition, whatever they say. If Forbes says it, if US Weekly says it, you know, if any of these mainstream, the Wall Street Journal says it, then it must be true as it relates to somebody's financial condition. But those are just established vehicles that we have been trained to look at and accept as the authority on certain information. But how many of us are actually qualified to really assess for ourselves how accurate, reliable, or trustworthy those sources are, or even bother to try to make a determination about those things? So that said, based upon what it is believed or purported to be the case with Jay-Z, maybe if that's the goal, the goal is to get as much money as you can, have as much wealth as you can, and remove yourself from ignorant, directionless, purposeless, pointless, essentially useless uh, people, even the ones that look like you, then I guess he would be the blueprint, you know, pardon the pun, but he would be the fucking blueprint. Like maybe that's what it is. Maybe those of us that know better are supposed to remove ourselves as much as we possibly can from those of us who don't care to know better or do better. Those of us who still believe in things like the shortcut, which doesn't exist. I mean, obviously I removed myself a long time ago. So I live it. So you know, I'm asking the question as though I don't know the answer, but I live the answer. I live the answer. I see one black person, well, depending, because one of the UPS drivers and the FedEx drivers, they're often black. But other than that, I don't see no black people. I don't. I don't see any black people. And, you know, not that it makes me feel better that I don't, but if I were to see a black person walking by, right now, I'd be like, who is he? What is he doing around here? I would. I would. And he could be perfectly fine. He could be like me, But first of all, I would be like, when did he get here? Because there are no black people here. So when's he get here? And just if you're here, cool, wonderful, great. And one day you going by, I'll stop you and introduce myself and be like I am with everybody else. With people, we got people from South Africa and people from Alaska and all type of shit, and I speak to them and greet their dogs and their babies and and I would be that way with anybody else, But um, the overall condition that I'm speaking to about our condition, I'm not welcoming of that. I didn't put myself through all the things that I put myself through to be able to provide you and your siblings with circumstances that don't subject them to that lower end condition that I'm referring to in terms of our people who are, again, directionless, pointless, planless, useless, and don't care that they're that way. I didn't put myself through the things and subject myself to the things that I did in order to be able to raise you and your sisters in environments where that won't be the case. Y'all didn't have to live around that. Y'all didn't have to see that, to be around that. I didn't do the things I did so that that would be the case. You know, it's because I know what it is. It's not that I don't care for my people. I obviously do. But I'm also uh, very experienced with our people. And I've taken a great many losses fucking with our people, bro. A great many. A great many. I have had experiences where our people have fallen short completely unnecessarily over and over and over and over again. And I don't think that it's a matter of a lack of the intellectual prowess. I think that it's a lack of belief and desire. I don't think that cats really believe that they can change, evolve, or grow. And I don't think they desire to change, evolve, or grow enough to put themselves through the trouble that it requires to do that, the trouble of change. So if you are one of the ones who really aspires to more, to have more, be more, do more, see more, then you got to identify the ones around you who, whether they're relatives or not, day ones or not, you have to recognize if they're not independent of your encouragement, inclined to make the kinds of decisions that will uplift them out of that circumstance, then no amount of your cajoling, encouraging, pushing, threatening, I've been through it all. Nigga, you gonna get this money. Nigga, you gonna get. I've been through it all. And as long as you pushing them, pushing them, pushing them, they might perform. But at some point, you either going. I mean, you are expending a lot of energy. You're pushing yourself, and you're mustering up the extra energy to push another motherfucker too. You're gonna need that energy. You know, you knock on 59's door like I am. You're gonna need that energy. And if you got it, you're gonna be happy you got it. So there's but so much rubber you got on your tire, man. Don't wear that shit out before you run out of road, buddy. You're gonna be fucked up. I'm telling you. Telling you. Shit you not. All right. That's it for us, son. This is our
Yeah.
fourth. This is our fourth live. This is our second one where we did the
Second one.
combination. So again, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube at some later date or whatever, know that we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. We've been doing it on Instagram for the last uh, 2.5 years, like 30. It's like 34 months now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if you go to my Instagram, which is Cavario the Mind Plug, or Ty's Instagram, which is comedian TyMillz, or We Poppin' Son too, I think, right? We Poppin' Son too. You'll be able to see episodes and shows like that. Of course, we post shorts on here. But yeah, this is we just get into real talk here, you know? We get into real talk, conversations that are not being had. I don't give a fuck about academics. I don't give a fuck about Charlemagne. I don't give a fuck about Jay-Z. I don't Boosie. I don't give a fuck about any of these people.
It's crazy.
I care about them as much as they care about me. And if, except for academics, I don't know academics. I don't know Boosie. I know Jay. I know Charlemagne. I know Charlemagne when nobody knew Charlemagne. You know what I mean? When he was Wendy's radio boy. But I say that to say I know these people, but the conditions of their existences are inconsequential to me. So I do not care to have conversations about them. There is no value in that, none whatsoever.
You're not, you're not trying to jack them off too and tell them how great they are and how great you are just by way of knowing them.
Mm. I think they'd be all right. I think they got enough motherfuckers their genitalia as it is. They could. I need all the hands I got for mine. I'm working with a lot, so I need both hands. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, this is what we do, man. We poppin' son. We get into real viable conversations that are not just the topic of the day. A motherfucker gonna look at these conversations a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, and understand that they are applicable in the now in which they're viewing it or hearing it. All that disposable bullshit. We ain't with none of that. We ain't none of that. Not a YouTuber. I'm a real motherfucker. I'm not into the sucker shit at all. Fuck sucker culture. Fuck rapper culture. I ain't into none of that. I'm everything that those motherfuckers wanted to be. Make up in their raps. And I raised a real man, raised several real men and women whose product, their own children, are doing fucking wonderfully. That's what's fucking important. A lot of y'all gonna watch your children fail, watch your children's children fail. Not here. So that's it for me, son. I love you, man.
Love you too. We free agents. That's crazy. We can run with that other situation now.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So yeah, I actually set everything up just to like see how that goes. I'll tell you about that when we get off. And for the rest of y'all, man, you know what it is, man. Remember to think critically so you live wonderfully. All right. My plug out. Peace.